We are live, so whatever you guys say is live, live.
It's saved on YouTube forever.
Oh, YouTube. Oh, okay.
Are we waiting on anyone else?
I don't think so. No one else responded.
Okay.
My crimes are being archived.
I
over.
see 5 people. Okay, we're clear. We're good.
All right, welcome, guys. Season 9 is coming up. We have a lot of planning. I got a lot of things to talk about. You guys have some great ideas. I'm showing on stream the agenda. And the stream should be live. Let's see if it's live.
Someone let me know.
Yeah, it is. I'm on it right now.
Nice. Okay. So, well, first, why don't we talk about season 8? What are the things that you guys liked? You know, good and bad lessons learned, right? So I'll open the floor for you guys. Who wants to start?
I'll go ahead and start. So I liked the idea, especially the team aspect. It felt more like involved, especially for the people that might not necessarily have the same skill that would be able to compete in a singles format.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely this season we gotta, especially as captains, hammer down on doing research and making sure people are available before drafting them.
Yeah.
Which I've already reached out to a couple of the people from my team and gotten word from them. So, yeah. But yeah, I feel like it was definitely beneficial. And just from a viewership perspective, it's unique compared to, pretty much any other type of league out there.
Yep. Well, good. Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? Something different, of course. Good and bad.
Well, it's not really necessarily good or bad, but a lot of the time, as we got further into the night, we'd kind of get a little bit more relaxed and just say, okay, who's still awake? Okay, let's play them. So, on one hand, that took away the competitive aspect, how serious the competition was a little bit. On the other hand, who needs seriousness?
Yeah, we need some seriousness. Yep, that's true, because it's still a competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some rules we gotta think about too. I like the just to add to your seriousness part, I like the mercenary thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell it may be an issue if we don't do it right. And we knew we can't do it in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
We knew that was a thing. So I just wanted to add that. Okay, cool. How about, did Nachos get to go? And Chanfong, you guys?
I'll say some. So my only
Oh,
what do you
your
call that?
voice is low for some reason. Let me increase it. Go ahead.
All right, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're lower than everyone else for some reason.
That's weird. Hold on a second.
Can someone else talk?
Input.
Hello.
Yeah, you guys are okay, but he's like really low.
How
Let
about
me
this?
raise.
That was a bit louder.
Yeah.
So like something like
Oh,
this.
whoa, that's good. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. You can talk. I'll lower you. I can always lower you, but raising you, there's a limit. Just keep talking.
Yeah. Okay, I'm talking. Okay.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Very cool. Good. So my experience with the FSL was only from season 7 to season 8.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like 1 through 7 the solo. So I did a solo and did the teams, and I speak from just comparing those 2 seasons.
Mhm.
The team is where it's at, definitely. And it kind of like piggyback on what Rach said. We went into the draft, like all 5 captains went into the draft, like just knowing that we were pulling from the archives, like of every single
Yeah.
FSL player, and there was going to be greater than zero chance that most of those people couldn't show up. But because we went through the pain points of season 8 with the draft,
Mhm.
we have a better understanding of who is going to be around. Who, like, if we contact them, they're going to respond back. You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
That's good. Good point.
Um, I think season 8 for us, I wouldn't be encouraging here. I think and I kind of see some of your notes for like the next season. I think it brought to the surface some of the pain points that now we are now starting to deal with. So I'm actually pretty encouraged by that. Like I remember the conversations around Code S,
Yeah.
like, if we had somebody who was M1, they would be too high. Do we have an S code plus? But it also is like, we need to shift around the MMRs between S, A, and B. We
Cool.
need to kind of pull and
Yeah.
and we'll go in with that, knowing that within season 9. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to however I think we end up in what code we are in. I think it's going to be really, really cool because it's going to be more competitive.
Well,
Yes.
and to piggyback on his point, I think we should have a more rigid structure for the codes. That way, when you have things like Nachos and Chienpone hitting platinum, like it just turned into they completely dominated. Because the rest of Code B was the lower, like the high to mid gold to silver, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Well,
will
that's
tell you, I'm
good.
going to say from personally, because of my experience with season 7, I was working so hard to make sure that even if I end up in Code B, I was working so diligently to try to get promoted to Code A. So for
Yeah.
me, it was personal. It was a personal assignment for
Yep.
myself, a personal goal. But then, like you said, like in the middle of like trying to achieve that goal on the ladder, I go up, 400 MMR. But this is the first time I've hit Plat 3. This is the first time in my life I've hit Plat 2.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to get to that point, but there was I think like I was like so focused on in FSL 8 was like I was trying to get promoted, and
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't get promoted until the end. Like, did I earn my promotion? Whereas hindsight, I should have been promoted.
He cut off.
Well, there.
He froze.
Yeah.
He froze. That's okay. All right. Well, listen, guys. We don't need to go into these details because we do have
Yeah.
season 9 rules that address this. We can have a little bit deeper discussion. So, last one, Chinpon. What did you like? Real quick, what did you like and what did you not like? Any suggestions? Just real quick, give us something. Is he frozen? He's
He's
frozen. Everyone's frozen.
Well,
Oh, there he is.
I
He's
liked
back.
having a more getting to interact with people um, on camera. I think that was on. Okay. So I liked it was a little. You just don't really talk to them a lot more.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good idea to
Yep.
do that. Yeah. I
Okay.
generally just good idea.
Sounds good. Anything that you didn't like, just real quick?
I would say I enjoyed that.
Alright.
I think it was. I think that was
Sounds
it.
like you didn't have anything you didn't like.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. All right, I just wanted to get a quick check on that recap, right? I'm sure we'll get more. So now we can talk about season 9, right? The MMR band. You guys might have seen the posting I had about the season matchmaking considerations, and if it was on the board there. But let me open up the doc again so you can see what I'm talking about. Can you guys see the see this?
Mhm.
Wait a minute. You know what? This screen is all screwed up. Let me fix it. 1 minute, guys. The screen thing is like huge.
Mhm.
Let me fix it 1 second. Because I'm normally sharing a different monitor, and this one is
Right.
all messed up. So I'm doing this on the fly. We didn't plan this, so alright, so can you guys see the on the webcam? I mean on the stream. Alright,
Yeah.
cool. So I posted about this, right? Wanted you guys to kind of check it out. But basically, it does address the MMR issue, right? And we don't want to discourage people from playing ladder. If they're improving, they're improving. That's great. We don't want them sandbagging though, meaning they're actually good but they're pretending to suck. So then they destroy an in their matchups. That's not cool, right? So I don't know how to solve that if they're pretending. But what I'm thinking of, did anyone get a chance to read that? It was posted on the board, on the
I
Discord.
sure. I totally missed this, man. I'm so sorry.
Sure,
I
sure.
have not read it.
Yeah, you may have to scroll up, but basically, let me just go through it really quick, right?
Mhm.
You know, the problem is we have mismatches in games, as you guys see there, right? Because of the broad MMR ranges between code B, A, and S, and then of course when people get promoted, right? Some players they dominate within their assigned code, discouraging balanced competition. So the way to address that, right, is we do want to retain the B, A, and S because it's really great, right? As far as the way we categorize
medium, high.
players, we built on that history, right? But we need to implement some MMR-based matchmaking, so that way, it's fairer games. So what that means is you still retain your rating within rules, like which one you are, right? Some people will get promoted or relegated based on their MMR and our relative population of players. But what we want to do is allow cross-division matches based on close MMR ranges. What this means is people that are in Code A, that are dominating, but they're not quite good enough yet to be in Code S, they can play people closer to them in Code S, the low-level Code S. And then the lowest level Code A is unlikely to play the top Code A player if it's far enough in MMR. But then the lowest Code A player could play the top Code B player, right? So that's one way of doing it, but that's really tricky to do, right? So you need to make sure we determine their actual peak MMR, the one-time assessment, but you don't want to discourage ladder play because you want them to practice. So, but we'll need to, I think this means we need a competition committee that kind of looks and we understand players' ratings. I can tell who is a fair match to who, right? And so this is tricky, but I think we can do it based off of a ranking system where we have players ranked and we move them up kind of like a tile, and we can say, hey, you know what, Champion is way too good to be in Code B, obviously, right? He's up now in Code A. He's probably not as good as so and so, but then he's above so and so. Then the match ranking, there's a band there where then when we determine who plays who. So that's the part I haven't figured out yet, but I feel like this may be the way to do it. They will still have a label, and then the next season they get relegated or promoted, right? After each season we do. And if you guys look, I pasted that on the board. There's what we can do is based out the Europe and America MMR ranges, and there's a rating scale there that I researched. You can look. I'll send this doc to you guys later, okay? But that's how you can make assignments. We'll have to review everyone's ratings and then put them in there. We need their latest MMR. Yeah, it can't work if you don't get an MMR, which means these guys probably should play a few ladder games, right? And then what we need to do, get that one-time peak MMR, and then we'll have scheduling and adjust accordingly every few weeks. If we see, or just as we see, oh man, it's so much, we can tell, right? We knew that. Nachos, you did great. You were improving so fast. And we're like, you know what? We can adjust that. And that's not going to make it unfair for you because you're still going to face similar MMR people rather than beating up. And then of course someone have going down that hasn't played enough, their MMR will go down. You know, this will be tricky, but we'll have to figure it out, right? So this is just a high level, explanation. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
You know, the one person I was actually thinking about is Sergeant ABC.
Yes.
Is that like it? If you took me off those matches, he was very competitive.
Yeah.
And he was learning little bit by little bit,
Yep.
and it's like that's exactly the going into next season. Whatever we're trying to do, at least do something to like make it. I don't want to say it's fair. Make it competitive. Like
Yeah.
get me out of there. Get the guys who improve. Get them out of there. And let the code Bs be with the code Bs, code As with the code As.
Yeah.
And like you said, like I don't know when it would be a good rhythm to do that, like every few games or every 2 or 3 matches of the player. But but we trust KJ and Hyper Turtle and anybody who's watching. We know what's good, and we know what's not so good. And you can make that determination. Like, you know what? He needs to go up. She needs to go down. She needs to go up. He needs to go down. He needs to go up. Yeah.
All right. No, thanks for
I
that.
think
Anyone?
y'all just make the call. Just make the call. We'll trust it.
Anyone else have anything quick to add or dispute or whatever?
So I think one thing we could do to help with the MMR issue is require for people to compete that week. They have to do a set number of matches of
Ladder
ranked
games.
ladder.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion, actually, because people practice anyway. We just need to see how they're doing. No, they shouldn't sandbag. Have a secret. The risk there is they have a secret sandbagging account, or a public sandbagging account and a secret practice account. But if we discover that, we're gonna have to just pay some real. The penalties there. Look, no one's ever cheated in the FSL that I know of. This is a family-friendly thing. Once we know someone's doing that, you may be banned, dude. That's not worth it. If you're having fun, right? I don't think anyone would do that, right? So I like that idea. Require some ladder games during the week before
That would be good for the players
before
too.
the
if they
match. It's
have
good for them anyway.
motivated-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to report your MMR or your game results to your captain, I think that's good enough because Hyper Turtle is enough to do. I have enough to do. But your captain, they like being involved. They usually have a mentorship mentality, And they're usually a bit more senior.
delegation like that.
And then you send the replay just to see, and then you can see, oh, okay, yeah, he's not faking it, and you can watch it, and then eventually you trust the person, right?
Screenshot of Mass Chest stream.
Yeah, something like that. So maybe it's something along these lines, right? That's a good way.
I mean, you wouldn't even need a screenshot of the match history. If you have them added, you can go to their
yeah, you can
account
just
and
review
game
what
and
they're
view it.
doing. Yep.
If you got the friend accounts, yes.
Yep. Need
Yep.
the account. So that way we want this as simple as possible. So I think you register your main practice account and you require a certain number of games during that week. That might solve our problem. Right?
I like it. Yeah. And again, like we'll give you the scenario. Somebody thinks they're wise and they sandbag their games that week. And like, oh no, I went down like a whole rank.
Yeah.
But then you guys will see it in the match, and
We can
after
see.
that Friday's match, you'll be like, oh no, you're going back up, bro.
Nice try. We know you're good. Look, I
Yeah.
am very astute to seeing people's actual skill.
Yeah.
Like I can tell. I was like, So if we catch you, that's really bad for you, right? Now, I don't think anyone wants to do that here. I mean, it's not that serious, guys. Come on,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
No, we don't even have a freaking stream delay.
Yeah, and I don't think it'd be silly to come up like, oh, have you done it 3 times or kind of kick out. I think you're gonna have conversations, like you're clearly better in this. Like I think just having a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Shall we move on? I feel like we could find a way to implement something like this for competitive integrity, right?
Mhm.
Actually, I
Yep.
forgot to do this, guys. What is our? You wanna the way you organize, or teams, companies, organizations. It starts with what the heck is our mission, right? If you look at companies, they always have mission.
Statement.
What's our mission statement? Someone take a guess on what our mission statement is, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Construct
Not that there's an
additional
official one.
pylons.
I just know it. What is it, Hyper Turtle? Take a stab.
Create. Yep. To create a fun but competitive environment for a wide variety of players and ages.
For the game of StarCraft 2.
Here, I got a stab.
Okay, yeah.
To create a positive environment
Ooh, I
for
like that.
players of StarCraft 2 and even newcomers to StarCraft 2, to create a positive environment to gain additional support for the game that we all hold dear.
Yeah.
So basically, we're promoting this game we love.
Yeah.
Share the
So-
fun.
Something like that, right? I'll add one more thing. Family friendly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
create a positive, fun but competitive environment for players of all ages to promote the game we love, StarCraft 2, in a family-friendly format. Because I don't want to use environment again. That's a good mission statement, right? Alright, so this will guide whatever we're trying to do. Meaning, if we ever do make any decisions, does it
Does it
promote
support the
this?
mission
We're missing
statement?
something, by the way. Fun but competitive, and it has integrity. The competitions are fair, right?
Yeah.
So we need to create. So basically, create a positive, fun, competitive but fair. That's pretty much a good simple word, right? Fair and there has integrity, competitive, fair environment for players of all ages to promote it. Something like that. We'll tweak this. We'll chat GPT tweak this later, but for now, you guys got it, right? So anything we do, we gotta look at this and say, does it really adhere to the mission? So
It's almost like those 4 words are the cornerstones of FSL. Positive, fun, competitive, fair.
hey, that's right.
Yeah.
Love that.
And
Okay.
and I love how you're like positive, fun, competitive, and fair. And just in case you don't know what that means, family-friendly format.
Well, the reason
Yeah.
I say that is because the family-friendly format is we try our best not to use curse words. Now we saw War Bunnies. We heard them. He said something along the lines of, you just don't want to be a dickhead when you're in that probe. And I caught that. I was like, oh, why'd you say that? Right? But we kind of let it go. It's minor, but we try not to, even though that's more of a PG-13 word, right? But we try not to. It's gonna slip up once in a while. It's okay, but as long as we keep that, meaning no toxicity, that's positivity. Anyway, look, I think we're on the same page here, right? So that kind of why we made these change. We talked about the MMR thing, right? We want to make it fun, fair, and right. People are still gonna learn. All right, so now relegation and promotion. If you guys watch soccer leagues, some teams, they lose too much, they're 0-10, they get relegated to a lower league, right? And someone wins a lot, sometimes they go up to other league or something, right? So in this one, this kind of is addressed already here, right? We will review, and then we will relegate and promote even mid-season, but probably only once per season, before the season starts, right? You guys are
Yeah,
good with that?
I think if anything, kind of do it like how the NFL has like a trade deadline, have a promotional deadline
Mm.
at like some arbitrary point in the season, like week 8 or whatever. We'll go
Maybe
off of the
halfway
NFL.
point, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. Halfway through the season. So basically we decide this before the season,
and half. This is what we're working with right now. Maybe we'll change that, but I think I like that to start, right? All right, cool. So that addresses a lot of the things that we needed to work on for season 9. And that's also determined by the player rankings. So Veils released player rankings based off of history, right? Win-loss history. But as we know, so-and-so that used to beat up on somebody no longer does because of changes in, skill, etc., right? Form. That's where we come in, where we do these periodic reviews, right? Okay, cool. Next one. Pros and Joes. This is the exciting one, right? Hyper Turtle.
Yeah, pros and Joes and pros versus Joes.
And pros,
They're
yeah.
It's two separate things, yeah.
Pros and Joes. Pros versus Joes. I think we just call it pros and Joes because sometimes they're teamed up.
Sure.
Pros and Joes.
Covers both.
I'm gonna let Hyper Turtle let one cat out of the bag to get you guys excited. Hyper Turtle, tell us who is going to join us for the next version of this.
Alright, next up is multi-time world champion Cyril.
What?
Yes, sir. No one is out of
Yep.
bounds here, man. Come
There
on.
are a
Just
lot.
Dang.
There is a surprising number of contacts that Dricket has open, and you'd be amazed just how bored some of these players are while they're waiting to hear any news.
well, let's not diminish this, but
Yeah.
remember, we do between me and him, we have all the contacts in the world, right?
Mhm.
Of all this.
Holy
It's
cow,
really-
that's nuts.
It is really just all about their timing, our timing, the opportunity, right? And some possible payments. On some caliber players, you do want payments. Not even if they say no, you do want to plan for that. But
Mhm.
there's also another reason for the payments, and I'll get to that next. Sustainability, right? Keep in mind, FSL is sponsored by Psystorm. Consequently, sponsored by me mostly these days, right? Just to give you guys a structure of Psystorm, we did have several team members, management team leadership. We had many sponsors, but the bulk of it has been myself kind of covering that. So as you can imagine, running an esports team, especially during our heyday when we had 2 BlizzCon players, several Code S players, Koreans, etc. They're all expensive, right? Obviously, we're not in those heydays anymore, but we still have some. We still have the best Protoss player in the world, right? We're still running stuff around. We got all these things that is part of our cost. So FSL is another subset of that I've been subsidizing all these years. But we got to think about sustainability. We want for FSL to keep going without relying on me, without relying on a single person or 2 people. We want it to be. It's not just about crowdfunding internally with us who wants to play, but we gotta make it so that it's sustainable long term, that it's based off of players, viewers, believe it or not, and other contributors. We want to make it easy for them, right? So here's what I'm thinking of doing, and this is just one part of a multi-prong approach for sustainable injection of small amount just to keep us running and keep this running forever, right? And it's the way we want, without going to sponsors and all that stuff. Although we do have some sponsors that pop up on and off, it's not reliable in this state of the game, right? Are you guys with me so far?
Yes.
All right, cool. Now I don't want to rely on each of you to just, you donate whenever, yada yada. That's great that you do that. It adds to the pool, the price pot that we do, right? But when we have pros and Joes, we can make enough money to pay them and put something into the pot for different things that we want to do, right? So that's the plan. Hence, I have this plan example I gotta go over for you guys. And we have full transparency here because we're planning. And those who get to watch this see what we're trying to do. So, now the concept here is, I think we start with the 2v2 thing, right? You guys already know what that is. I don't need to explain this, right? What's the point of that tournament we're doing? Well, not every pro is going to be available and going to do it for the goodness of their heart. This is their job. They're playing. We should expect to pay them. I don't care if they like me or Dricket schmoozed them or whatever. We should try our best, right? Now, of course, if they're already on our paid staff, maybe, you know, we may take that a little bit once in a while. But they still want to get paid, right? So we want to give them financial rewards for participation. The whole point of this is allow the Joes to experience the thrill. You guys already know that, right? It's freaking awesome to play with these guys. And one example, Insanity is the biggest Max Pack fan, and she was so happy to be able to play with her hero. Can you imagine, you know, playing with your hero, especially during some of you guys did? That's insane, right? But we gotta utilize a crowdfunding model. And when I say crowdfunding, I'm not saying just us internally, but anyone who watches. So we want to open it up to those outside of us, right? That's so that we can scale. We can't rely on just our small group of FSL internal folks, right? So this can we can open it up. Now we gotta be careful though. We can't just open it up, right? But what I'm thinking, and look, all of this is just ideas. We can change all of that, but I'm just letting you guys know so you can process it, think about it when we talk on the chat, right? I'll send you this doc as well, right? But I'm explaining it here, and people that weren't here, like Vales, can kind of see, oh, okay, that's what they mean, right? So the way it works is each broadcast night to be determined, there'll be a mini tournament with 4 teams, kind of like GSL style, right? That's what we did the last time, right? There's these team matchups. You saw that the last time, right? You guys all know that. And then the loser plays the winner. You know, the whole GSL format. The winner, the loser faces the loser, and the last one's eliminated. The winner faces the winner for first place. The remaining 2 play for second, third place. And then the prize pool distribution is something like this: 65 for first place, 35%, right? Now we don't know what kind of numbers that's gonna look, so I'm gonna give you guys third and fourth place. By the way, we'll still get a guaranteed participation payout. Because they participated, you know? Right? We want them to get something. So to participate, let's go to the Joes first. To participate, the Joes bid. Here's the difference. They bid for a chance to team up with one of the 4 pros. The highest bidder secures the spots and plays alongside their selected pro. So what does that mean? We announced the 4 pros that are playing. We have a schedule. And people can bid to play. Which means people that have been dreaming to do this, not just FSL people. But of course, they have to follow our rules. Right? Yeah. Kick him out anytime. We have to have a backup. But the highest bidder must confirm their spot by sending a payment. Well, I'll talk about that. So, for example, the starting bid is $25 per Joe. Right? Sounds normal to me. I'd love to bid. If I win, great. If I don't, well, you know, no big deal. At least I tried, right? This is just an example to start, right? If the payment's not made within 24 hours, then the next highest bid gets the spot. Same thing, right? You keep going down the list. 30% of each Joe's bid is allocated to the pro as a guaranteed prize payout. What does that mean? The most popular pros deserve the most, you know, a bulk of that. So, example, if Cyril's playing and, you know, his bidding goes up high, well, guess what? He gets minimum guaranteed money. 70% goes to the prize pool, with 10% of the portion goes to future event funding. So then we build up something out of that, right? For later. I'm going to show you guys the mathematics of that, right? So here's one more thing. Just to make this fair, we need skill tier scheduling. What does that mean? We have broadcast nights that are based on skill tiers. Basically, groupings of bronze to silver, gold to platinum, diamond to masters. And why do I say that? It's not fair that Cyril's playing with the bronze guy and, you know, I don't know, some pro, normal level pro. I'm not going to name names. Regular level pro is played with the masters. Now, I don't care how great Cyril is, but that's not fair, right? Especially in a 2v2, right? So what we're going to do is everybody that plays has to be at this level on different broadcast nights. Sound good? You guys with me so far?
Sure.
Only Joes that qualify for the designated skill tier can bid. Now, we don't want to make this too hard to figure out, right? These people are not going to cheat like this. Come on, man. If I want to play with my favorite player of all time, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to play in the bronze silver. That's stupid, right? It's unlikely. But if they do that, that's bad for them because we're going to see them. They're going to be famous. And they're going to look like an idiot in front of their hero, right? So, probably unlikely. Alright, so look at the numbers. For example, in this scenario, let's say we collected 285 bucks, right? Here's the payouts. So we have some sample players, A, B, and C, D, right? You can tell this is probably Cero or someone popular. You can tell this is probably some regular pro, right? But you know they get guaranteed money. But what then happens is the remaining prize pool is this much. It's almost 200 bucks, for example, right? 10% of that goes to future funds, 20 bucks, no big deal. No one's gonna be pissed off, right? And the rest will be on the prize pool. So then first place gets a pretty good amount of money. Second place gets a good amount of money. So let's say the best player, you know, this player, assuming the best player wins, or not the best player wins, because you can see, for some reason, Cero comes in third place. It could happen, by the way. This is 2v2, man. Right? Anyone has a chance to win in 2v2, as long as the teams are somewhat fair. So I think no matter what happens, these guys will get something out of it, and if they win, they get something out of it too. Anyone have any questions so far? Because I'm going to go to the rest of this. Sounds clear, right? Reasonable and clear? All right. How do we...
Very reasonable.
How do we vet these Joes? How do we make sure they're not, you know, being stupid or cheating? Well, they must submit their Battle.net ID, their current rank, and agree to a code of conduct. They probably should upload a replay that they just played. We just won. If they, you know, they must have had at least played one recently, right? Hey, guess what? FSL guys. We'll have to review them. Just a quick, you know, if they paid, they already put their deposit in, then we know, or did I say deposit or the full amount? It's small enough. Come on, guys. Just send the full amount, right? So they send the full amount. We just need to just like, you know, just a quick call. It shouldn't be a big deal. Just kind of like, hey, how you doing? And a lot of them will be repeat customers, by the way, right? I think you'd want to play again if you enjoyed it. You do the working webcam because you ensure that they do have a webcam. You interview, confirm the skill level, the attitude, basically our FSL check, right?
Yep.
We want to keep this as simple as possible. Well, there's only 4 spots, and a lot of them will be repeat customers, you know? And we might even get new recruits to our FSL.
Yep, that's what I was gonna mention.
This is how you recruit new people. They're like, I like this group. I'll join them. Technical
Vale's
check.
asking where the link to this document is.
Who is?
Vale's.
Oh, he's not joining the call,
We can
but he
maybe
wants the
post
link.
that in the
Yeah,
caption.
sure. You know what? Let me spend time and share it to the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Let me do that really quick. Copy the link, and I'll put it on. I'll put it on the actual Twitch stream chat. 1 second, okay? Just for you viewers, so you guys get to see this. Because we are about open transparency here. Well, that's what transparency is. That's redundant. We are about open transparency here. Okay, here you go. There's the Google document, and this is also this matchmaking proposal. I didn't post that yet, but I think this is pretty clear to us. The only thing you kind of may want to need here is this MMR rankings guide, but that's not that important to get right now. Okay, so back to this technical check. You know, the other purpose of that Discord and webcam interview is technical check. Do these guys often have webcam problems? Right, because we don't really want to deal with that. Is their internet stable? Microphone work? So there you go. I mean, if you feel like it, you can play with that person too to make a friend, just to see how good they are. But totally up to you, right? You know, if you talk to this person and they're probably some sort of software manager from some company, they're probably unlikely, you know, to be like wasting our time, right? but you never know, right? Or some teacher, because a lot of the StarCraft fans are actual professionals, you know, adults, well-adjusted adults, right?
With steady income.
With steady income and are good people. Okay, so remember, we're not trying to make money of this. Guys, this is not for us to like, oh my gosh, we're gonna make money from these people. No, it goes to the players, and it goes to future events, right? That's all it is. I don't make any money off this. In fact, I lose money on esports every year, a ton of money, right? So this is for the good of the game. What is our motto again? What is our mission statement?
Fun, fair,
Promote,
positive.
yeah, to promote and support the game. Well, actually, it's promote and support. And who? Why do we not say pros? Because anyone really, we're supporting anyone related to the game. Maybe it's streamers, right? No, the Joes do not get a payout. They're here to, they're here to play and with their heroes. Get them getting $15. That doesn't make any sense. That's not enough money for that. That doesn't, It's kind of like our team league. Did we put any money into our team league payout? No, it's for the individual kids that played and adults and whoever. They got a payout, right? Because that was a traditional thing. We don't even want to cut that off, But the team league, it was really all about, and we didn't make enough money. What are we gonna do with $50 spread among the 10 team members? Right? What are you guys gonna do? You're like, okay, hey, you got $2. You want it? $5 for you. Come on, man. The PayPal fees will eat that up. Not worth it. I certainly do not want to be going on PayPal and sending all this money manually. I don't have time for that. Right? I don't even like doing my payout for the Psystorm salary every month. I'm like, oh, I gotta go on and pay that because my previous accountant is no longer available. Right? Okay. So anyway, we went off tangent in there. Broadcast rules and expectations. You guys already kind of know this, right? Webcams, except for one certain person, certain pro, everyone's required. We already know this toxicity. When you guys get this doc, you can share it to the. We'll put it in our FAQ for FSL applications. Highlight the intro. Oh, here's what's cool. Each pro team will be introduced with a short video segment before the matches. We already know that. We have a broadcast, right? We'll do interviews for first and second place. The rest are optional. Here's something really cool. Continuity, okay?
Ooh.
We will have leaderboards. I'll make a website. We track the performance of both the pros and Joes. Their wins. Okay? I can imagine some really cool stuff there. Cyril always wins when he's with another Protoss. I don't know, is Protoss OP? I don't know. I'm just saying, right? Some stupid stuff we can come up with. I think that would be great. Season Grand Finals qualification. Here's another cool thing. Winners of each broadcast earns a spot in the season-ending Grand Finals. We could have a nice tournament. And you know what's going to happen? Whoever won that will want to rejoin and pay the fee. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Look, we're not milking people for a ton of money. These are bids, man. Come on. The Joes who win, and let me stop there for a second. Let me just tell you that most of the StarCraft fans that I'm dealing with now are not little kids that don't have money. Most of them are adults with a decent job. And even if they don't have a decent job in their minds, they have a livable job that they spend on the game they love. You see them buy merc, right? StarCraft merchandise. Look at Hyper Turtle. He's got he can get robbed, man. He got so much stuff in his house.
Oh boy. Yeah,
But-
you're right. I had to mark this stuff on my insurance.
All right. So let's go back to this. Sorry. The Joe who wins the pro gains first rights to partner again in the finals with no additional fee. So maybe when I wrote that, that's what I thought of. However, they can be replaced by a higher bidder if necessary. Oh, okay, that's why I put that in there. They're in there automatically, no fee. But guess what? Someone can bid that has a fee, meaning you don't have to pay the initial bid, but then, you can get outbid by somebody, right? So just remember that. That just kind of makes them motivated. They're like, okay, fine. I don't care about your little free thing. I want to win, so let me do that. Post-match feedback. Both pros and Joes are encouraged to provide feedback on their teammates. Ha!
Hmm.
If you didn't have a good experience with Cyril, you can say, Cyril's awesome, but he's such a jerk. I won't play with him again. I'm not saying that's true. He's probably almost all these pros are awesome, right? But you never know. So we have feedback for them, and guess what? Vice versa. If we hear something bad and the pros say, yeah, no, that's really bad because we lose that pro. There's only so many pros, and there's a lot of Joes. Right? Joes are dispensable. Pros are not as much, not so much, right? If you're a bad Joe, right? I don't expect any bad Joes, but we kind of have to make these statements. So maybe we do like one of those ratings, like teammate rating, like that'll be on our leaderboard. A++. Nachos has been a 5-star teammate. I tell him to macro, he macros. I don't know, right?
I think too, like if we do something like that, we should have the. Oh, am I muted?
No, you're good.
No,
We're
yeah.
listening to you.
Okay. Anyways, I think we should have the feedback available for both the pros and the Joes. That way, if there's something that either side, they can kind of they can get that feedback and learn off of it.
It will be public feedback, you mean?
Yeah.
I think that's totally fine, right? Maybe the feedback is as simple as 5-star, and if you get a no star, then we know there was a problem, right? And maybe you can write
Yeah.
a private note or a public note. I'm not sure. Let's get back to that later and see, right? So Nachos had to go, but we'll keep going. Well, we're almost done. Actually, this is the last part of it, which is kind of fun. We'll have to do something with highlight reels. And we have to do much better job with our social media of this. If we have enough budget, maybe use part of this 20%, pay some media person. Because that's a lot of work, guys. I've done that.
Yeah.
Unless we get volunteers, and Mizelle's not free all the time. He's got a job, People have jobs. I try to do this, but it's really a lot of work, right? But those are the kind of things I'm thinking about, right? I mean, it took me a while to figure this out. So I linked it on the Twitch chat. You have a copy of it now. Actually, anyone who's watched this has a copy of it now. I will put this other MMR thing on our Discord. Okay, why don't you guys talk amongst yourselves, all of us, while I do that real quick. Thoughts? Because, I said a lot there. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think it's overall fairly well structured. Um, I think like especially the narrowing it down to having like MMR locks is a really good change because that was one thing like Cham and Sergeant ABC just got dominated,
Mm-hmm.
especially where you have Max Pack and a Diamond player where I think everyone else that was participating was like plat and below.
Yeah.
For the Joe side. So I think that's a really good change. And yeah,
Yeah, that's where we can, maybe have a list of people of different levels who have expressed interest before and say, okay, here's the one where we're going, where we need some people from this level.
Hey, thanks for the resub. Revenant Rage. All that support is good. By the way, FYI, when you guys resub, eventually, or sub, right? Eventually, I think Twitch like pulls that and then gives a payout. That payout goes to the PayPal of Storm. So I don't even see it; just gets used immediately. So that's the cool thing. But yeah, every little bit helps. So appreciate that. All right, cool. So back to this MMR proposals in there. I uploaded on Discord. This one, I should probably make a PDF and put it into our Discord too, although it's linked. But people like
I
files for some reason. Go ahead, keep
I
going.
did have an idea though with the pros and Joes thing. I
Mhm.
think maybe like a night before or something, organize a night for the pros to meet their Joes, get a little bit of advanced practice in before the stream. And then, maybe even negotiate in with the pros doing like shout outs or something. Like after hearing that Cyril's going to be there, obviously everyone's going to be gunning for him, myself included. Um,
Yeah, and
and
it's
like,
not a bad idea. Here's the only problem with it, right? A lot of the pros are doing this not as a big commitment thing, you know? They kind of want to go
yeah,
in there, see who they're playing with, and just play, right? Now, if this was a $1,000 tournament, you better believe they're gonna, hey, let me talk to my teammate. Let's go practice some builds. But at this level, they really just get on, get it done, and go, right? They don't want a whole lot of interaction back and forth. It's a time sink, right? Going in, going that. I'm not saying not all of them will be like that, but the majority of them, they just want to go in there, have some fun, get paid a little bit, and get out.
yeah,
So letting you know that's how most of them are thinking this. There's always exceptions, right? So that would work if all of them are really like, yeah, this is great. Let's go do that. Let's plan it out, etc. Right? But it's not something they would, because there's a ton of Joes that want that time with them, right?
yeah.
So it's not gonna. So just
Well,
think
I
about
mean,
that.
if anything, even just do something like a custom shout out, like a 30 to 60-second shout out from the pro or something. Like
Yeah.
there's that whole what's it called, Cameo app where you can pay people to
Well,
do
that's a
stuff like that.
different thing. We could do that too, separately,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's part
And
of this. Let's think about that. I like that idea. Um,
I'd also, I like the way that FSL and the pros and Joes stuff can help support each other, and I'd love to bounce around some ideas for other things we could do on certain nights that would be just a little bit more open, still with the screening ahead of time, or the vetting ahead of time, but some other stuff that are like one night things.
yeah. Think of ideas because it's just a start, right? And this
Oh, I
is
have a long list.
awesome. Yeah,
I
this
have
is
a
just
long
a
list.
start, so that and it's structured. It's well thought out, as you know. We discussed here, right? We have to start with something like that, and when you have a working engine, then you can add other parts to it and say, "Oh, by the way, we're doing this now." But now we have the crowdsourcing, or at least a sustainable financial thing, right? And
yeah,
off of that, you can piggyback other cool concepts. And I know you guys
Right.
have a
This,
ton of awesome ideas.
this supports other exciting
Yeah,
programs,
yeah,
such as
exactly. One more thing I want to talk about. This more for general FSL thing is, I broadcast usually every game, right? Usually, right? It's usually me doing production. Someone may be interested in doing more, and that may be you, Hypertroll, although you do a lot. Although it's tough because you like to talk, and then as you can see, when I do all these things, it's hard, right? You gotta do the production, you gotta do the transitions, you gotta do this, you gotta do that,
Mhm.
right? It's a ton. Like that's why when I watch Wardy, I'm like, man, that guy does a lot. It's crazy.
micro.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So, but for the good of FSL, you don't want to rely on me all the time, or you all the time for that matter, right? Because that's why we have other broadcasters. I like the idea where we had the different players. Now we gotta have the right players, when they comment. It has to be partnered with someone that, is the main speaker that kind of has the flows really well, right? Can kind of commentate. And then you have could be the play-by-play. And then you have the analysis person, right? You have to have someone that actually knows what's going on. You can't put two guys that are just play-by-play trying to do analysis and vice versa. You guys know that, right? It doesn't work that well.
All right, you can't have both people do color commentary.
And you can't do exactly. So, so with all of that, we got to figure that out long term. So let's think about that. But for now, baby steps, right? We improved a lot from last season, as Revenant said, right? Team League, huge deal, right? Now it's about sustainability. Now we got pros and Joes, and maybe adjustments to the way our competitive integrity is, right? Champone, I haven't heard from you. Any thoughts? Or maybe he's no longer around.
He's still in the chat, but muted, so...
Revenant Rage, anything else? Think of ideas. It doesn't have to be, sorted out now. But any other last thoughts? Because, I mean, you guys just kind of got wind of all this stuff, right?
I think my only question with the Pros and Joes night is, would someone be able to sponsor someone? Like, say, for example, I'll go back to Cyril. If I wanted to, have my stepdad play a match with him or something, get him properly vetted and everything, but have me pay for the bids and everything, would that be something?
Yeah.
But you pay for the bids? Anyone can bid for a spot.
Yeah, anyone can give someone else their money so they can bid.
And by the way, if it's vetted by you, we know and trust you, so that jump starts the process. Meaning, we probably don't have to be super rigid on rules and vetting, right? Because we know.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters who pays, as long as the person who's playing
is vetted.
Goes through the proper.
Yeah. Or if it's vouched for by you. If Hyper Turtle says, yeah, so and so's good, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just wondering, because I know he doesn't have, the time to do something committal, actually participate in the league, but,
this one-time thing is cool for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, I'm interested in doing a lot of kind of one-time thing opportunities.
Yeah.
I was brainstorming a lot of different kinds of match nights that would revolve around different obscure game settings and game modes and stuff, and I would love to start just reaching out a little bit further, still vetting of course, but have a little bit more of a community plays kind of thing, like a lot of the streamers have. Anyone who's interested, here's an interesting little twist I'm looking for volunteers to try out.
Yeah. So eventually, when we get more momentum, we'll have our own website, right? And then you can have edit access to it, adjust all the leaderboard stuff, whatever. Post comments, put some new videos. We'll do all that, right? But we gotta start small, sustainable.
And right. This is definitely the part that would bring in the most sustainability. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've already got so many contacts here, it's very encouraging.
Yep. And this, by the way, as you know me, I would write software to make this easy when they bid. But for now, we have to do it manually. Because writing software to do this costs a lot of money and time to do. But at a certain point, when we do this enough, we're like, okay, it's worth it now, right? But since we're just starting out, we may adjust a few things, a few of the rules, a few of the, procedures, right? And we don't want to write code and then be like, oh, no, this isn't really that successful, or we got a big change. It's just too much work. So we got to do this
some
manually.
Problems like Matheson obtaining sentience and bidding himself. Yeah, we don't want that. Sorry, Matheson.
Oh yeah, Matheson's asleep. He's not here right now. I had him
All right, well.
I had him off. Matheson, wake up. Let me press that button. Alright. So, I think we have enough information here.
Yep.
We have a rank MMR rebalance thing that Vales made. I'm showing it on screen real quick. I think he has the players that were active. We just gotta move them around. I'll make my ratings. Maybe we just share with you, me, and a few people that have watched the players and know. Like War Bunnies is a pretty good idea of people's skills. I noticed between you and him too. You know.
He has a very analytical mind. So,
Yeah,
yep,
Bales also
indeed.
has a great idea of who's what level. So
Mhm.
we could probably do that and then debate amongst ourselves, one or two players who should be above, kind of like the popular basketball, ratings. They say, oh, so and so's Larry Bird's better than so and so, and blah blah blah, right? I think that's
I
a fun
remember
one.
those days.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Cool. Anything else that guys that you want to talk about while we're all here?
I think I need to get some games in, including some 1v1 stuff. So
Nice. We have about an hour and 20 minutes. Well, an hour of broadcast. We talked about a lot. There's a VOD out. So you can just share that for those who want to catch up. Right?
Yeah.
And it's still being refined. And maybe we'll do another one of these when you guys have thought it out, right? What to do.
Sure, roundtables.
The relegation, the rankings, maybe drafting teams or pre-draft discussions, right? Or even talking about the pros, Joe's stuff, whatever. So we can do that some other time. This was a last minute thing, so thanks for hopping on. All right, it's all about you guys. You guys have, as you guys can see, it's really, while I write all this stuff out and think of ideas, it always goes to you guys, and I just enforce the whole mission statement. Eventually, you don't need me for this. Right? You have the mission statement. You guys can make decisions on your own. You remember I put it in there, hey, you guys should meet, but you guys didn't meet. I think you guys were waiting for me. So, but remember, you don't have to wait on me on that. Just follow the mission statement. All I ask is to have the final approval, right? Or veto. You guys can self-organize. All right?
All right.
Cool.
All right.
Good job,
See
guys.
you
Let's
next
go
time.
kick butt. FSL Season 9. Hopefully soon.